So I would like to, hi Jessica, invite you to involve us in your daily work. And now we've seen Paul commercial photography, you've seen concerts photography, working with tools like that. And one of my slides was actually about portrait photography. And then there's two people that pops in my mind in Sweden. That's Knut Koivisto and you, Jessica Wikström. And you have been away from the photography stage for some years, and then you actually came back. And I'm wondering what made you actually choose to go into medium format suddenly, and why Fuji, and are you only doing portrait photography these days only, or are you doing some other great stuff?
That was a lot of questions. But...
Damn it! And you didn't know that I would pop those questions, did you?
Oh no, I did not. I should have bring them down. And I have a very talkative cat here, so sorry about that. But yeah. So, oh, sorry.
Yeah, that's okay. I think she has a cat, and it's a bit angry that she's actually on television today, so on a webinar. And we have dogs. Paul has a dog, and we have a dog. So if they hear the cat, we might get in trouble with the cats and dogs. So bear over with us. So.
Yeah. So sorry. We have a puppy, and she loves the cat, and the cat hates the dog. So whenever they encounter, it kind of gets very messy. And
yeah.
Yes. Okay, now I kind of forgot the questions, but I encountered Fujifilm, or the medium format of the GFX, back in 2017, when I was asked to try out the GFX 50. And back then I was shooting with Canon, I was shooting with Leica, and so I was like, yeah, what could possibly be amazing with the new camera kind of feeling. But I accepted the challenge, and I borrowed the camera for about a month, and I fell in love with it. It sounds so corny to say, but that kind of was the feeling I had after the first shoot. I actually have the pictures from that shoot to show you guys. It was instant love. Yeah. Oh, I hate when I say that, but that's the truth.
Yeah, you have to tell what actually catches you when, and there's a lot of emotion in actually the cameras too. Why you fall in love with the style, the colors, the picture,
yes.
Yeah, and that's typical for Fujifilm. So you're not awkward. We all have our crush on Fujifilm somehow. So, and that's your crush, and that's you have a lot of photographers out there that's got the same crush. So yeah.
I mean, good company then.
Yeah.
Yes. Should we bring up the slide?
Yeah, let's do that.
Yes. Yeah. Awesome. So hi guys up there, my name is Jessica, and I've been a Fujifilm photographer since 2018, and I became an ambassador in 2019, kind of before Corona struck. So yeah, that was fun. But I have been a photographer for 15 years, and I think I've been shooting. It feels like I've been shooting every genre out there. Weddings, portraits, of course, products, some commercial stuff. But that wasn't my jam. As Ib said, I took a break from photography for about 2 years, where I sold off all my equipment. I canceled my studio I was renting, and I was giving up on photography because I didn't feel any love for it. But then a couple of situations made me come back to photography again, and I rebooted my career with the Leica M9. And that's when I decided that I only wanted to do portraits. So I stripped away everything that I was told that I should be doing as a photographer, that I should be doing everything. I had to do weddings if I was supposed to shoot people, and I hate doing weddings. So I concentrated mainly on portraits, and that took me to meeting Fujifilm and beginning to use the best system there is. And I opened up my very own studio in the middle of the pandemic in 2020, and it's still going strong, and I only do portraits now, which is awesome. I'm so happy about that. So here you can see some of my work. One of the things I was shooting when I came back to photography was actually bearded men. Long story, but yeah, that was fun, and it brought me back to photography. And so to the left, you can see kind of where I started out back in 2016, 17, and it's almost like a timeline over stuff I made. And the last picture on the right, you can actually see wedding portrait. I actually did a wedding portrait session in the studio on New Year's Eve. But that's a different kind of thing than going out doing weddings for me. I'm very, very stationary when I shoot. I am not one of those awesome photographers that can throw on their gear and just go out. And I admire them so much, but I am way too lazy. I really like the comfort of my studio, so I do everything in studio. And so back to the point where I discovered Fujifilm and the GFX system. Like I said, I was actually contacted by Fujifilm where they asked me to try out their new medium format camera. And at that point, the experience I've had with medium format cameras was that they were heavy, they were big, bulky, they were slow to work with. So that was kind of what I was going into when I picked up the GFX. And I was like, yeah, okay, fine, let's do this. I wasn't sure I was going to be impressed or if I was going to like it. I was afraid that it would feel very technical. It would feel kind of, modern. I don't like this super, super clean, modern look in my images. And that's why I liked Leica, because they had this cinematic kind of touch, which I was after. So I went into this shoot with a lot of kind of negative thoughts about it. Sorry, Fujifilm, but that's how it was. But then when I came home, I was like, holy crap, this is the best thing I've seen, kind of. And what I instantly fell in love with was the colors and what you can do with them. I don't edit too much, especially not skin retouch. I concentrate a lot on colors and the lighting when or the light when I retouch. So to the left, you can see the raw file. It didn't look super exciting when I saw it back on the back of the camera, but when I was looking at it on my monitor, when I could zoom in on it, it was like, oh my goodness, it's the best thing ever. And it was just a joy to edit, which sounds really silly perhaps. I hate editing too. It's so boring, but this you felt the image, when you were working with it. So it became fun. I still don't like it though, but it is kind of fun when you can zoom in and you can see all the details. You kind of can nerd about how sharp everything is. I love that in a portrait. So I guess perhaps a lot of you guys have seen some of these images. It's from the first project I did together with Fujifilm and Profoto. We had George coming all the way from New York just to join us for this. And I don't know, it was like the best shoot of my life. I think it was absolutely amazing. And at that point, I had saved up for my very own Leica M10. I had been on a waiting list for that one for months, and I was so proud to finally have got it. And then the GFX 50S came along, and in March, the year after, I saw the pictures we did printed on a huge, in a huge format. And I was like, yeah, okay, well, I'm selling my Leica there and then. So I knew I had to switch, because this feeling and the colors that you can get from the GFX was exactly what I had been looking for in my photography for all these years. I thought I kind of was the one to blame. I wasn't good enough at lighting. I wasn't good enough at editing, but all the time I was looking for this medium format feeling. So that was like, yay, the biggest win to finally have found it. And yeah, that's when I had to sell my poor Leica M10 and get a GFX instead. So let me tell you what I love about the system. First of all, colors, of course, colors. They might look a bit dull when I shoot. I do shoot raw, and I kind of shoot, I think all of my images look kind of underexposed when I see them at first, but I know how much you can pull out from a file. I'm never worried in the studio that I don't get the shot because it's too dark or anything. I know there's details. And as you can see, you can pull out quite a lot of colors from the files with I didn't spend super much time on these images because I like it simple and easy. So I use exposure software as color grading, but that's basically it. It's all there from the beginning. So colors, yes, I really like that. And the second thing is, of course, you cannot talk about the GFX system without mentioning sharpness. And I still do this when I get home from a shoot. I pull up my favorite image and I zoom in to 100%, and then I just go like, oh, wow, look at those details. It's like, yes, super nerdy, but as you can see, you have so much details in these files. It's insane. And like the other photographers were talking about, you can crop it, and you can do basically whatever you want with the file. And that is really, really a strength. And here's a second one. As you can see, she's gorgeous, and those details are absolutely amazing. I've printed this one, and every picture is better in print, but when you can almost touch it, you can feel the image. It's yeah, it gives me goosebumps. I don't know if I'm the only one, but yeah, it's so good. And my cat agrees with me. And the speed. For me, when working in the studio, I do photograph a lot of kids, and you kind of need to be there, and you need to be prepared. And I think the GFX, for me, it really, really, it gets the shot. I'm not super worried that I will miss anything, as long as I'm, sitting there with the camera ready. I know I will get the shot. And I've done a lot of dance portraits as well, and I don't need a faster camera in the studio. It's always nice to have a fast AF, of course. But now with the 50S2, I'm really, really happy with that one, and the AF that one has. So it gives me a lot of choices, and I don't have to say no to a certain type of photography in the studio because I don't have the speed. So that's really, really nice. But I also like how the system has made me slow down It has made me think more about how I'm interacting with the subject. I think Paul was describing it so well when he said that he could give the camera to his mother, because I could be that mother, because I'm so very not technical. And I love how easy it is to just pick it up and fire away. Because I don't like technical stuff. I can't be, stressed out about technical things. So that's why I really like how the camera brings me back, that I can be slow with the subject that I have in front of me. I can be slow with the camera, and I can focus on the subject. I don't have to think about how the camera will perform. I can go half a shoot without even looking at the back of my camera, because I know that the focus is there, and the speed is there, and the lighting is there. It just works, which is super awesome for a non-technical person like me. And I have actually never ever used the movie function on any of my cameras. So that's how untechnical I am. And yeah, I think that is what I have to say about this system. I work really slow compared to the other photographers. But yeah, that's the job I'm doing. Oh, sorry.
Yeah. I think that you pointed out some good stuff that I will catch up in the end. That you don't have to be technical to use this camera. It's really easy. You can use all the technical stuff in the camera behind, because it's a computer, but still you don't have to be technical, and that's actually one of the bullet points. Yeah, definitely, yes. Because you shouldn't consider you having your mind tossing around technical stuff when you actually for the picture, and that must be fantastic to have this non-technical stuff hanging over your head.
Yes.
And you named a lot of choices. You have a lot of choices, and actually Fleming and Paul and you have been saying that in between lines, that you have a lot of choices when you use a huge sensor, because you can do stuff and you can do it easily. It's there, and you don't have to do magic or hours of editing to get the result. It's almost there. You just have to squeeze it in your direction, the twist that you need. So some of the common stuff that you actually tell about. So it's been fantastic, and some have asked if this is being recorded, and it will be recorded. And Fleming has also put out a YouTube clip where you have 90 minutes with you, Jessica, where they can see more into the depth of what you're actually doing, and your magic, and the easy stuff, the non-technical stuff. That's a really great YouTube clip to see. So feel free and do that if you want to go into portrait photography easygoing. So that's recommended. Thank you very much, Jessica.
Thank you.
And you answered all the questions I popped, so we are satisfied. I think Fleming has a question for you.
Yeah, one final question just popped into the chat from Silvano, who would like to know, Jessica, whether you prefer constant light or flash.
I use flash for everything. I've tried constant lights. So I do have a couple of these nano lights kind of thing, and they're really fun, but not for my regular work. Then I use flash.
Fantastic. No more questions? No? Thank you very much, Jessica.